Hello, everyone. My name is Jacqueline with She Rises Studios, and welcome to today's Light the Torch ceremony. We are here to celebrate a powerful and deeply moving release, Beyond Hurt Finding Forgiveness in Unexpected Ways. This inspiring anthology, led by Hanna Olivas and featuring 21 incredible authors, invites us into stories of healing, courage, and the transformative power of forgiveness. These women share raw and honest journeys of finding grace after pain, reminding us that even in the deepest hurt, hope and peace are possible. So let's celebrate beyond the hurt and the light it will bring to those on their path to healing. Hello, everyone. Hello, Janet. Hello, Felice. How are you guys?
Fine, thank you.
Hi,
Awesome,
good
awesome.
morning.
Hi. So why don't we go around and, briefly introduce yourself and let us know what inspired you to be part of this particular anthology?
Do you want to go ahead with police?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. I'm Felice Garcia, and I'm the founder and CEO of Felice Love and Light. I also host a podcast, Sharing Your Miraculous Life with Felice, and I just launched an online radio station that's Light Your Way, and so it's inspiring music that will help you through your day. And the reason I was inspired to write this chapter was I felt like I was in a stage of waiting. I had to wait to find my husband, and I I wanted a family. I wanted to have children, and God had a different plan for me. He wanted me to wait for a while, and that was really painful, having to wait so long. And the blessing was that I was able to have twin daughters that are 3.5 right now. But it did take a long time for all of those blessings to come through. And sometimes you want to give up, and sometimes you get mad at God and why does everyone else get those blessings? And so I felt really inspired to be able to share my story, because I know a lot of people start to get angry and upset that they're in the waiting season. And we just have to wait, be faithful, and know that God has a better plan for us. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you, Felice. Janet, do you want to share yours?
Sure. Thank you for having me and for including me. I've been honored to be a part of it. I'm Janet, and I'm the founder and creator, I suppose, of the Anomaly Factor podcast and coaching website. I'm an integrative holistic practitioner, an international life and health coach. Thanks to you guys, an author, and becoming a speaker as well. And my journey for Beyond the Hurt is still continuing. It seems like it's a never ending journey, right? A few years ago, I completely burnt out and lost about 15 different people. Almost lost my own life, and literally been doing personal development for 20 years and can't believe how much I keep uncovering. There's so many layers. And yeah, it's just my journey of where I was and how I transformed my life after the burnout and really connected with my purpose and my passion and created so much since. And yeah, I've finally starting to meet and doing life on my terms now instead of for everyone else. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Janet. We have Celestina joining us via audio right now. I'm not sure if you are able to speak right now, Celestina, and maybe share a little bit about yourself.
Yes, how
I think you're muted.
about now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Great.
Okay, beautiful. Sorry about that, everyone. I was trying to find the video screen and that is not working for me. But in terms of sharing my experience of joining and really what this has been for me, I've wanted to share with everyone just a lot of different spaces as a trainer and a coach myself that I've been able to learn. My journey and what I share is the undiscovered or maybe unplanned places that we go in our life. For me, about 18 years ago, we found out my mother was diagnosed with a brain tumor. That's definitely not
Mm,
the first of traumas or hurts that we've gone through in our lives. But when that, diagnosis came down, there was definitely a shift and a change in my life to
mhm,
take the traditional prayer and forgiveness and different practices that my family had taught me as long-standing Spanish Catholics. And really make it my own. Figure out what was the journey of how I could process and deal with the fear of losing my mom, the fear of not knowing
mm,
if she would be in a space of normalcy after she had brain surgery.
mhm,
And also through that process, other pieces, much like Janet shared, there's a lot. If you're a life coach or a trainer, that you're helping others constantly, there's a lot to process about yourself, about your own choices, about the things that you've lived to be able to support and be there and hold space for other people. And for me, I had hit that burnout space where I wasn't really sure why in the world was this the work I was called to do. And in that process, part of my life transformed because I thought that journey of prayer would be all to myself. Because I think
mhm.
that's where my frame of reference around prayer, except for like going to church, was that you take that journey and it's a journey with you and your creator or God, whatever you want to label that higher power. But it wasn't that for me. There were people who joined, there were people who asked for the support, there were people along the last 18 years who I helped them facilitate their own process. And at times that was very hard because I just wanted to do my own thing.
Yes.
And being also very humbled and very grateful to know that we don't do life by ourselves, even if we feel like that's what we're going to do, or even if we're in our biggest breakdown of our life. There's still people that are called to us or that we're called to, um, because life is a journey together. And so in
Yes.
my chapter, I speak about the pieces of how that came for me to understand over the years, but also some of the key takeaways that I've learned from the people who have joined me in this process, or also just in learning how to show up as a leader in something that was very different, because I never had thought of myself as a leader in um, transforming the heart, transforming prayer, definitely in workspaces or in other spaces that it seemed like, yeah, that's leadership. So for me, this book itself was a piece of it, to be able to language it and to be able to also um, figure out how to create some value from it to share with other people.
Well, that's wonderful. And now so much more excited to read about your chapters, your individual chapters. Now, what is interesting, one of the interesting thing about this particular book is the title itself, Beyond the Hurt, because that alone speak volume already. But what does this title personally mean to you? Would like to go first.
Since I'm still unmuted, I'll go first if that's okay, ladies.
Yes,
I'll just jump in.
sure.
Um, I think Beyond the Hurt is a really powerful space for people to have an anchor that healing is truly possible. I think in our
Hmm.
society, there's a lot of money to be made by people not healing and staying sick or staying emotionally attached to the pain that caused transformation, that caused life evolvement. We have to break down to build and break through and grow. It's not an easy process always. It's not always fun. It's not always, without pain, but it's possible. And I think that that's one of the biggest pieces in not only our title, but in what the women in this book share, that we are the proof that it's possible. We're also the proof of the grit and the tenacity and the resilience that it takes to get to the other side, and to have it be useful for us versus hold us in a place of brokenness. I think that our society has a lot to do with people having a consciousness or a belief that once something bad happens to us, or hurtful, we're broken forever. And that just now becomes, the title of how we live our life, or that's our bumper sticker, if you will. And in reality, it's the thing for us to be grateful for and to triumph and to show how freaking amazing we are, right? Like how really powerful and really strong we are as human beings to be able to transverse any challenge that comes our way.
Awesome. That's wonderful. And that's a, that's a good point that everybody goes through certain hurt at one point in time, but we don't have to be stuck there and just be in that hurt space, right? Great. Well, maybe Janet or Felice can share, or if you would like to share a defining moment of hurt, or a heartbreak, in your story that had shaped you, that had helped you, where you were able to move forward from that particular hurt.
I can go. I had a tragedy happen in our family when I was about 7 years old. My cousin
Mm.
was a sheriff. He was murdered. It was
Oh.
a tragic event that about 7 people were killed, a baby. And I didn't know what it did to me, if that makes sense. I was a young child. I had older siblings. They were adults, so they were talking about it, and it impacted me as far as even reading. I had a
Mm.
harder time being able to read it, and I didn't understand why. Looking back, I became a leader that really helped to support bringing communities into our schools. And that's what I started to dig deep into, what that trauma, what that hurt really meant for myself and for my family. And really going through, like Janet mentioned, I think all of us have gone through death after death. I mean, my community, I come from Chimayo, and there's a lot of, it's a holy place. There's santuarios there, but there's also very much trauma that has happened, drugs, alcoholism. And so a lot of my class members have passed away, a lot of young men. And so it almost has been like we don't heal from one tragic experience to the next and to the next. And then we're 30 some trying to manifest or have a baby, and you don't realize everything that has been kind of just stored away. You don't really talk about it. You don't communicate about it. And so for me, beyond the hurt, it's a journey, and we're continuing to every day heal from little things that we don't even remember as a child. And so that's why I felt like mine was about it's a journey, and I'm still on it. We're continuously having to forgive even ourselves for the thoughts that we have. And so I'm really inspired to be able to, to write the chapter, and to be able to help people to understand that forgiveness happens all the time, and we have to forgive and forgive and forgive, and mostly ourselves, because a lot of the times we are too hard on ourselves, and we put a lot of pressures that are unnecessary. And we just have to be authentic in ourselves and really lean into what God's really gave us as gifts, and to be able to be a light in the darkness in some ways. So thank you.
That's wonderful. And and just as Janet mentioned earlier, this it still is ongoing. It's an entire process, as you mentioned. It never stops. I don't think it ever will, but we go through it, we decide to go through it, and we don't just stay in that particular space of hurt. Um, maybe I can ask Janet this. Was there any specific, or was there a moment when forgiveness felt impossible? As you mentioned earlier that you're still going through it, but is there a specific time where forgiveness is just so much difficult, and how did you navigate through it?
I think that was my wake up call. December 22nd, I chose myself for the first time in my life.
Mm.
My dad was about to pass, and I could feel myself leaving before him. And I knew if I didn't
Mm.
choose me then, so I've lived a completely selfless life on so many levels and
Mm.
had absolutely no clue. I grew up with no understanding of boundaries or energies, and I've literally spent my whole life running from myself, and I had no clue because a lot of my story is pre-verbal, and I'm still releasing energy from my body as a result of that. And yeah, I still know there's more. There's always more. Hmm.
There's always more, but if we just decide to move forward and find that forgiveness,
Yes.
um, then yes, turns out well. Did writing your specific chapter bring any clarity or closure for you?
Um, I wouldn't say clarity. Well, I guess clarity and closure on some levels, but more understanding of myself. That's what I
Mm.
was after. I could help everybody else. I couldn't help myself. I didn't understand myself because I used to get overwhelmed, not just by my own emotions, but by everyone's. Because I feel
Mm.
everything. I just literally have no words to explain the feelings, the sensations. And I'm
Yeah.
still trying to understand them myself. But this emotional intelligence is imperative to me because I had no clue what I didn't know. And apparently, my
Mm.
body has been suffering my entire life with chronic post traumatic stress disorder. And I had no clue
Mm.
because it was all pre verbal. So I'm, I literally want to shout this from the rooftops because I believe our health, our trajectory of our life all depends on it. And I agree with what Celestina said earlier that the system's not designed to get people healthy. We have to
Mhm.
advocate
Mhm.
for ourselves and turn away the medication and start doing some of the in-depth to heal first because we don't know what we don't know till we know it. That's exactly what awareness is.
Great, great. Well, Phyllis, what unexpected form did healing, take in your own journey?
Um, I think it was just, really figuring out. I think, like you're mentioning, as a child, there's some things that we just hold down, and so we don't even remember. And so, really, I think that unexpected turn was when I was trying to heal and prepare myself to have babies, and realizing that, I'm not alone in this infertility, having issues with being able to have babies. And so it really was that turn of being able to forgive not only myself but everything that had happened up to that point. I think I'm my own judger. I judge myself more than anybody else, and so that's what I learned, is that to try to be more kinder to myself and not to have those inner thoughts of the worst thing's going to happen. And I always used to really bring that to light, as far as like the worst thing happening, and it's the traumatic experience, this traumatic response. And so that's what I have been working on, and I feel like that's the most unexpected that has come out, is that I'm still dealing with the trauma responses, and how
Mm.
do I respond like someone else who has not had a trauma in their lives. And so I'm still working on it. I think it's a work in progress, but I'm identifying it because my twin daughters, I don't want them to have those responses when something happens. I want them to be able to express what's happening to them, how they're feeling, but not in a way that's a trauma response. So that's one of the things that I'm still working on. And I really think that it's important for us to be able to bring up our young ones to talk about situations that have happened, so that they can work through it and be able
Mm.
to heal faster.
Awesome, awesome. And how do you and maybe, the three of you can jump into this. How has your life changed since choosing to forgive and or begin the process of healing?
I can go first this time if you want. This is
Yes,
becoming
please.
an issue for me. Well, not an issue, a good issue. Self compassion, self love for me, this is
Mm-hmm.
all new. And literally to learn to relax is not easy for me. And to keep that in the forefront of my mind so I can avoid the burnout again is paramount. So I'm learning to listen to my body's cues instead of pushing through them, and spending time in nature with like minded individuals, meditating, gratitude, rest is all imperative. And I'm starting to try and figure out how to have fun. I feel like I've missed out on the fun aspect. So that's what I'm doing from here on in, is just helping others connect within and hang around with a lot of fun, like minded people.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you know, and that's actually a great realization that it we don't we're not here just to figure things out. We're also, here to chill out, have fun, enjoy the moment, right? Celestina, would you like to share?
Sure. I think, as Janet was saying, the ability to add celebration and fun into our life in ways that also champion. I think as women, at least in my experience of coaching and working with people, and even my own experience, um, learning to champion ourselves and celebrate our wins, and even small wins, they get a
Mm,
hurrah, is really valuable practice for us, because the world doesn't necessarily champion us unless they see something that's extraordinary. And we as human beings are miracles walking every day. We are extraordinary. So I think that that's something, in the healing process, that's a very key for us to be able to dive into a practice that authentically feels good, that lifts us up, that gives us joy, that we can have big belly laughs, and definitely being with other people who, they champion us for who we are, not for what they expect us to be, is really valuable and important. So I think being able to find group of people who are always with you. I know Felice is one of my people, whenever I hear from her, I light up because of who she just is all the time. And, there are days when she will reach out to me and she sends me a message, or she just is her beautiful, loving self. And it matters. It matters so much when we lift each other up and we take time for each other, just to say, hey, I see you, you're important, I love you, what's going on, how's your day? And I think that has a lot to do with healing. How do we help heal each other with sharing and spreading love and joy and kindness with each other, especially right now with so much fear being shoved down people's throats and in mass media? I think our media that we're putting out through this book is a big ball of love and hope, and I really do, send some prayers out there that the right people are connected and it uplifts their lives.
great. Thank you so much, Celestina. Yes, Philippe?
Oh, I have a list. But I would say that one thing that I really have practiced is gratitude, and
Mm,
also, prayer, and really reaching out to friends. I feel like the Holy Spirit leads me sometimes. And Celestina, like she mentioned, as I was going through the struggle of infertility, we had dinner. It was during COVID, and of course, I was a scaredy cat. That comes from my family, but we still had dinner together, and she also was able to get me into contact with someone that could help me. And I think that that's
mm,
where we lean on our friends, because the resources that we have are abundant. We're abundant with love, care, and resources. So we should be able to reach out to each other for prayers, love, and also for resources. So that's one of the things that I really think is important. Rest. I know with twins, it's not that hard, that easy, but I try to do that as much as I can. In dancing, we love music. We love to dance to music and enjoy our time together. And I would say, my husband taught me one thing, is try not to stay mad for more than 5 minutes. And that has been a practice that really has changed my life, because there's nothing we can do about a situation, and sometimes we manifest it. It hurts our body when we stay mad. And so that has been really a life-changing experience for me, is not holding on to anger. Talk
mm.
about it and get it out, and then move on, because you can't change the past. And just I'm a part of a community with my church, and we all just reach out to each other with prayer, and that has come with my online radio station. So a lot of us are on there trying to send inspiring messages and music. So that's a little bit about me. I know that's a lot, but just try to spread love, light wherever we go.
Wonderful. Well, and that's a great point that you find a community where you feel supported, because then it's a lot easier than just dealing it, these hurts and trying to forgive on your own. And maybe for the two of you, Felice and Janet, what is your hope that this book will serve your readers? What do what's a takeaway that you'd like for them to get from reading your chapter and from reading the entire book?
For me, it's like Celestina said, healing is totally possible, and peace, inner freedom, and alignment, space, creativity, everything is on the other side of that resistance, the pain.
Mm,
You have to go through the darkness to find the life. And literally, the moment, this present moment, it's a gift. And that's where we need to focus on. The choices we make in each present moment will get us to where we want to be.
mm. That's a great point. Yes, Felice.
I would say similar is enjoy the current moment and try to forgive yourself because the past is behind us. And we
Mm,
only really have this current moment. Enjoy dancing, loving art. With my kids love art, and just enjoying communication, to talking to each other, because we could, in our mind, be still running through what's going on, what our traumas are. And until we forgive ourselves, until we let go, we can't enjoy that current moment. And then also the anxiety of the future. So we just have to stay present, and it is a gift. Life is a gift. So just enjoying your community, your family, and giving forgiveness all the time too. We can't forget to forgive others as well.
wonderful, wonderful. Celestina, do you have any, if there's one takeaway that your reader, you would like your readers to take away from your reading your chapter and the entire book, what would it be?
Well, from my chapter, first of all, you already are the diamond. The pressure of everything that has come your way, the challenges, the different things that knock you down and you have to stand back up from and keep walking forward, those continue to add the sparkle. Even if you get a little dirty, you're still a diamond. You're still valuable and worthy, and your spirit is so, so whole. I think that's one of the things. The breakdowns in our lives don't diminish the wholeness of who we are and our spirit and
Mm,
our purpose here on the planet. So I think that that's number one. I think number two, everybody goes through it. I think when I was younger, I used to think if I was just a good person, or if I just lived my life perfectly and didn't mess up, I wouldn't go through hard times. And life is going to throw hard times at us, so we don't get a free pass. It's always going to be a part of what helps us to grow as human beings. So those breakdowns, or those times when we're really struggling, or something really impactful has happened in our life, to shift and maybe guide us in the right direction, but it might not feel that way at first. um, those are meant to happen, even if you can't see the why and that it's meant to happen until much later. And so I think that all of us go through it. You're in the right spot if you're in it, and you're not alone. And you have a lot of tools from this book to support you to find maybe one or multiple pathways of tools and support, and even testimonials that it's possible on the other side to really heal and to find your way.
that's wonderful. You guys, you ladies have shared wonderful, wonderful takeaways. And I'm very excited for everybody to read the entire book. So, what's next for all of you professionally and personally? Now that the ebook is now available for everybody grab a copy. Maybe you can share where they can connect with you if they wanted to reach out. I'd like to go first.
I can go first.
Yes.
Again, if I have my podcast, so it's Sharing Your Miraculous Life with Felice, and then also my new online radio station. So you can get a hold of me on my Instagram, Felice Love and Light, on Instagram, and also on TikTok is still Felice Love and Light. Love to hear from you. And really, what's next for me is being able to help inspire other people through music and through their stories of sharing their miracles that happen, because miracles happen every day, and I'd love to share people's stories with everyone. So thank you.
Thank you, Felice. Janet?
Hi. Yes, for me, I would like to help others heal and connect with their own purpose and passion. We all are unique anomalies, and I would like to help others connect within to find their own. So they can reach out to me at janet@theanomalyfactor.com. My website's under construction, but it should be up and running soon. And I too have a podcast to showcase others that have gone through the mind shift, soul shift, and how they've transformed their own lives. And I'm doing coaching for healing, trauma healing as well. And yeah, I'd look forward to talking to anyone who would like to reach out and transform their own lives and get past themselves.
Wonderful. Thank you, Janet. Yes, Celestine.
For me, the path moving forward is to continue to coach and work with organizations that are transforming what their culture is like and what they're wanting to do to accomplish large goals that impact community. I really like to work with individuals who they are leaders and they have gone through some of these really intense spaces of not just necessarily burnout, but spaces that have really transformed the work that they're doing and they're
Mhm.
looking to evolve. So, really embracing that. I'm moving into my third level as a master coach. And so, that's really a fun place to be growing. And of course, contributing to the work with the other women in the circles that we connect with to really uplift voices.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for sharing your powerful stories with us today and for reminding that forgiveness, even when it's unexpected, will lead us, can lead us to true healing and peace. Well, we're so excited for everyone because Beyond the Hurt, Finding Forgiveness in Unexpected Ways is now available in ebook format on Amazon. So if you're ready to find the healing, for your courageous stories, grab your copy right now and let this book walk you through on your own journey. Thanks, everyone. Until then, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.